Hey everybody, happy Wednesday to you. Hope you all are having a great day, great week so far. Welcome to Midnight Hatter Live, the weekly variety show where we talk Gundam, Gunpla, and gaming. I'm your host, Steven, aka Midnight Hatter, and joining me as always, the Gundam explainer, Blue Gamer, Adam Blue. How are you, sir?
Hey, doing good, man. And what a cool day because that Battle Destiny came out on
We
PC and Switch.
we are fresh off
Yeah.
the live gameplay of Battle Destiny. So
Yeah.
tell me, like before we hop into the show in proper, tell me a little bit about how Battle Destiny was, because I haven't played it yet.
Yeah. No, yeah. I played it right when I got off work, and it essentially my time zone, 5 o'clock is actually when it unlocked on Steam. So it installed real quick,
Perfect.
it's small, launched it, jumped into a game. I was at that point, I was a little tired. I actually went out for a walk into the sun to kind of energize for the rest of the night. But the 30 minutes I played, I liked it. It's that old school feeling style robot gameplay. It's very, very familiar Gundam controls. But the targeting system is on point. Like, I don't know what exactly the Vita version was like, but this one, it's you have a button to do targeting. You can change target. It's like they even have it where I think it's forward or backward or whatever does like either closest target or the main target. And I thought that was
That's
a
pretty
neat,
cool.
yeah, a neat addition to the targeting system. So, but it's just memorizing, in Gundam, like Y being the melee, things are a little different from other fighting games, or action games. So, uh, and the graphics look pretty good. This is like Unreal Engine where
Mhm.
they transferred everything over. I think it looks good. I think you'd be impressed by it because it's yeah, I feel like what it is a focus on the high res textures because things look generally lower fidelity, but I think the textures make up for that. So,
Yeah,
um,
I mean, that's like the first thing that people do when they, port a game into an emulator, right? Is they go in and upscale all the textures to, like, 4K so that all of the textures are real crisp. It's still a low poly model, and so, like, there's not a lot you can do in that space unless you were to just replace the entire thing. But, when you just upgrade the textures, you have the advantage of not having to redo the animations and the rigging on the models, but, yeah, I mean, I think that it's a very efficient way of just breathing new life into games.
but
Uh,
is that one you're gonna play?
I think I am honestly. Obviously, I had my reservations about it being a seed game and like,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
but I've warmed to seed lately, so maybe it's because I've had to play through the seed missions of G-Gen Eternal, and
Oh, yeah.
we'll get to that later because there is
Oh,
a
cool.
I
Okay.
have some gaming chat about that I wanna share with you guys, but, uh but yeah, I think there I've had to max out my Justice Gundam EX unit in G-Gen Eternal, so I was like,
Ooh,
"Well, that's part of my main lineup now," like,
wow.
it's
Yeah,
the
I have
Justice
that one.
Gundam.
I haven't touched it yet, though.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 I have 2 ultra rares in Eternal that I have not touched or upgraded. It's the Narrative and the New Gundam.
Ooh, New Gundam, that's cool. I
Yeah.
I got an Easy 8,
Ooh,
but I
nice.
had already, picked the ones I wanted, but I decided to be like, "You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and spend all my points now," which takes days, on the Easy 8 and Shiro, and I was like, "That's a cool ultra combo to have."
It is.
So,
You know what's funny is, like, so I have the Zazabi and I have the Zeta Gundam EX, and that obviously comes with Char Aznable and Camille Badan. I have all 4 of those units and those characters maxed out. What's interesting is the auto formation
Mhm.
unit, like that feature in G-Gen Eternal always puts, uh, Camille in the Zazabi and Char in the Zeta Gundam. I don't know why.
Interesting. It's funny. I mean, I guess you're saying regardless of their points, because they're maxed, right? So they
Right,
would
so
just
they're all maxed out. So, like,
okay.
in theory, because, Char is probably the more powerful unit, like, Char Aznable should go in the most powerful unit being the Zazabi, but, like, for whatever reason, the Zeta ends up being stronger, and so Char goes into the Zeta, and Camille being 2nd strongest goes into the Zazabi.
And
weird.
is it because it's the special Zeta?
It could be that. It could be that
And
it's the
when did you get it? Because wasn't it last stream you were you still hadn't got it yet?
I literally pulled it, like, that day, like,
Oh,
after
okay.
that, yeah.
Okay, wow, that is really cool. Oh, man, good for you.
So,
Yeah, I haven't
that
got
was
it yet.
cool.
But I
Yeah.
actually haven't been jumping into it too much.
Well, you have until the 31st, so,
Why, what's on the 31st?
well, that's when the O and the Zeta Gundam get dropped from the banner
Oh.
list.
Oh, okay, cool.
But
Alright.
again, that's gonna be something that we talk about is, like, I wanna talk about how the gotcha mechanics and the leveling mechanics in G-Gen Eternal play out, because there's some things that are kind of not kosher about them, but
Oh,
we'll get to
okay, I
that.
thought you were gonna do a flip and be like,
No, no,
"This is the best thing in gotcha."
no, no, there's some things that I have against this, believe it or
Okay,
not.
interesting. Interesting. Okay.
Um, but in other news, yesterday, I dropped my first video in a while where we were
Oh, yeah.
unboxing this beast. Obviously, I've started taking him apart because we're gonna start painting him, but yeah, the 1 to 1/144th scale Quinn Mantha from, E2046. This thing is whoa, see, there he starts coming apart again too. Um, it's really awesome, like, and I can't emphasize enough, like, the quality of this resin because it is not like anything that I've ever worked with before.
And are you gluing it together, or is it where they, like, friction?
So it has to be glued together. Right now,
Mhm,
it's held together with like a glue gun with hot glue,
mhm.
just to keep it together. But like obviously, that can pop off, which is good because I'm gonna have to pop it apart to paint it. When I put it together, final, it'll be super glued. So Um, or
I
what I
see.
might do is
Okay.
I might super glue most of it, but then I'll keep the legs and the arms separate so that they can be removed and just kind of hung in place. Because what's interesting is like I don't know if you can see this on stream or not, but there's this long tab, right?
Mhm.
And this tab is actually what holds the like wing in place. And so this doesn't need glue. Maybe I put a magnet on it, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be the way to do it, I think.
Wow, okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, short video, but, I think that the follow-up video to that's gonna be a little bit longer because we're gonna be painting all the details. You know,
Okay.
I'm gonna try and put LEDs somewhere in it, so
Ye Oh, yeah, that's a good point too. But another thing I was thinking about the magnets or yeah, I wonder if more joints, maybe you should put some sort of removable, uh, part to it, because I'm just thinking in terms of, like, future transportation, like, if you had to take it apart
exactly.
yeah. I wonder if,
That's a
you
good
have big
point.
sections that you can pull apart. I don't know, yeah.
No, I think that that's probably the way to do it is, like, maybe separate the legs into 2 parts, the torso, the arms, and then, like, the various funnel attachments and things like that. Yeah, I think that's probably gonna be what I'm gonna have to do. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This has been like, I've never built one of these resin kits before, so
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I'm thinking I wanna get one. Um, it's funny because we were talking, like, last week about doing an Elmith, but that would actually not fit anywhere,
no,
for real.
entirely impractical.
Yeah.
And then in other news, I shared this on Discord the other day, and so I don't know if you guys saw this, but P Bandai threw up this lottery, which is a new thing for them. And I think going back to when they were doing the pre-orders for the Gundam Card Game Beta, obviously those pre-orders were heavily botted and like they sold out like the
Press
second
the
they
mic.
went live. And so this time around, these are the actual structure decks that everyone's excited about because they are the not just the card decks, but they come with the 3 Gundam Assemble figures. So we've got Heroic Beginnings, we've got Wings of Advance, we've got Zeon's Rush and Siege Strike. Here's what's interesting about it is obviously you enter for the opportunity to buy. This is so there's some caveats to how it works. 360 potential purchasers will be selected for each item, but only the first 240 to complete their purchase will be able to purchase the item. So you might have gotten an email that says, "Hey, you were selected and you can purchase it." But if you're not one of the first 240, sorry. And
Yeah.
then same thing for the new type rising, booster box. 1,800 potential purchasers, 1,200 people will be selected will actually get to purchase. So the pre-order opened on May 15th, closed May 19th, and today, if you received an email, then you won the lottery, and hopefully you guys bought yourself some cards. I did not win. Adam, did you?
No, it was that if you didn't get an email, you then just didn't, or was it an email like, "Sorry, you didn't make it this time?"
I didn't even get a sorry email, so that's
Okay.
I feel disrespected on that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, oh, wait a minute. Oh, congratulations, you have been chosen potential purchasers to buy oh, just now, 8 o'clock.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
hold on a second. Does that mean
Um,
that we need to buy these live?
oh, no. Oh, no. Let's see. Let me log in and see what happens.
That would
That's
be
crazy.
hilarious if we I thought you were playing with me for a second. You actually did get it?
Oh, new type rising. Let's see. Does it let me? Um, I'm doing it.
You look at that. Of course you get it.
Man,
That is hilarious.
I know. I had no idea. Yeah, the email went out. It shows 8 o'clock exactly.
That's so
Um,
funny, dude.
wait, hold on.
Well, so I have a poll going in the chat, so if you guys did get the email, like,
What if I
drop
forwarded?
in chat.
Do you think I could forward you one? Do you think it would work? Because I got
No
two.
way. Wait, you
Yeah, let
you
me.
got 2?
Well, yeah, for two different ones.
Oh, interesting.
Um,
So, yeah, which 2 did you enter?
for the new type rising and the Xeon. So I sent you the link for the
Good
Xeon.
picks.
So yeah, yeah, I because here's the thing, they let you do a whole bunch more, but
Yeah.
when I saw it, I was like, "No, I'm not gonna nah," because the thing with the lottery, like,
See, and so I only entered for the Wings of Advance and Xeon's Rush. But, yeah, looking at my notifications here, I did not get either. Um, so that's so funny. Well, congratulations. That's awesome.
well, I sent you the email. If you I don't know if you wanna check your email and see if it lets you.
I mean, it'll probably I see in the chat, Artie's saying, like, "No, it's probably account based," and that's probably true. Um,
Well, if that's the case, you want me to grab it for you before it runs out?
if you wanna do well, are you gonna get the, oh, yeah, see, that's so funny. Alright, so here's what I get when I try to log in with your, link.
Oh, it says no.
So it is account based.
Okay.
Um, but no, I mean, are you gonna get the new type rising?
Yeah, I grabbed it.
Now, but that's the booster pack, right?
Oh, I don't
Is that
know.
the $120 one?
Yeah,
Dang. Well, yeah, I'll hit you back for Xeon's Rush if you pick it up.
I'm doing it.
Look at that. See, Adam gets all the good stuff.
Not well, I'm actually surprised with this because the first time around, yeah, isn't this crazy? This happened live.
Dude, I could not have planned it better. So this is perfect because I wanted to ask your opinion. The whole point of this stream was saying, "Hey, is it more fair to have a lottery for how these things are done or to just have open pre-orders first come first serve?" And what's fascinating is like earlier when we were talking about it, you said like, before this is why we need the pre-stream show. Oh, would have been so good.
Mm.
'Cause you literally said like,
It
I feel kind of icky about it because because we didn't get the pre-orders. But now, how do
well,
you feel about it?
it's awesome it worked out, but I still don't like it. In fact, I only did the 2 because I felt, this is so I even then kind of missed out on more because I didn't think it would work.
That's
Yeah,
so funny.
I still don't like it. I don't know. I just don't know what the and maybe this is part of the conversation why they're doing a lottery system.
Well, so I'm glad you bring that up because that is, it reminds me of something in a previous life. I used to sell shoes at Dick's Sporting Goods,
Oh, yeah.
and we were one of the stores that was chosen to sell Jordans. And we took our like this was great because when I was the footwear manager, like my lead, Thomas, he used to work at Foot Locker and obviously was a big sneakerhead. And he was like, "You don't want people coming here to buy Jordans." He was like, "We're going to do this the way that we used to do it at Foot Locker, where people can come in. Anybody who knows that it's going to come out, they can come in." And we'll say, "Hey, we're going to have a lottery for it. We're going to take your name and your number. We're going to pick well, name, number, and shoe size. And then we're going to pick randomly who gets those shoes when they come in, and we'll call you, and then you can come pick them up and buy them. If you don't come buy them that day, then we're just going to go down the next person on the list." And the reason they do that is like, I don't know if you've seen some of these Jordan launches, but like
Yeah.
people get stabbed.
Whoa.
So, but this is with a physical location. This isn't like a digital product, and so there's definitely no fear of like botting and scalping the way that P Bandai works, right? So I understand the motivation and the logic behind doing it this way, and in a way, I kind of appreciate it. But like you said, is it really any less or more fair than just doing an open pre-order?
Yeah, and, I was thinking about the Switch 2 situation where they do it where you can go buy a source.
Mhm.
I mean, unless, that's not good to compare. Maybe the number of units they expect to sell will Switch 2 is different in terms of distribution than, the card game. But just that you had these different options of where to get it, and they had their own things like a line, like a online queue where you're in line. Where
That's brutal.
yeah, it's brutal, but maybe what if that is a good idea? How serious is someone to want to get one? Like it maybe there's something to that. But I don't know how much of this is a marketing strategy, a marketing campaign, because I
Sure.
I feel like it's like a cheese and peanut butter sandwich, even though that might be fine. I don't understand like card game and like pre-lottery pre-order for a card game. Maybe that's the thing with like Magic historically
Yeah.
is
Well, and so okay, so I'm loving that this is getting the chat excited because, like so for instance, Neon Wave says like, "Why are they doing a lottery? Because money." Possibly to avoid scalpers too, but I think because money. Well, at the
because
end of the day, it doesn't really make them any more or less dollars because they still are only selling 240 units. You might capture some of the FOMO, but like that's how many they made and they sell out. So like I don't think they necessarily care. Um but
But how does that help the but I guess why only that number?
Yeah, because that's how many they manufactured, and then here's the thing is they only advertised this on Twitter. I didn't see anything on Instagram about it. I didn't s
Yeah.
so it's a very limited marketing push, right? And so then, Artie says, "Well, what they should do is take as many pre-orders for a set time with no limit and then print that amount." Also a good idea, which I think would work for the Switch too in your case because there's no there's no rarity factor built in. So unfortunately, with collectible card games, you have to have like that rarity factor. So it's like if you overprint the cards, then you're devaluing them in the secondary market, right?
So, okay, and let me wrap my head around this. So with this card game too, it's not like you can go and then get a complete set, or if you do, it might be hard. Or is the idea that there's so many either rares or different ones that people could just be buying up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be that. And then you know what's interesting is when you look at the beta cards, like if you've seen like Vampy Bit Me did her unboxing of like the
Yeah.
beta card set. They're all clearly marked that they're beta versions, and
Yeah.
so, when the game officially comes out and you have people that are, like, on eBay looking for specific cards, they might not want the pre-edition beta version of the card, they might want, like, the first printing, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
so maybe there's a FOMO aspect of, like, having of being in on the ground floor, but here's the thing, if I were, like, buying on the secondhand market, like, "Oh, I really, really want this Char Aznable card," I wouldn't buy the beta version if I didn't get it in the beta version, you know what I mean? Like,
Right, yeah.
I would just wanna go get the actual version of the card.
I did that with the Stadia, not the Stadia. What was that, console that came out that with the Ocu not an Oc it was something with an O, and they had, like, the pre-launch edition Ouya,
Ooh,
the Ouya.
yeah.
Do you remember the Ouya? Is
I
that something? There's this
no.
little console, and they had the pre-launch edition, and then after it came out and it failed, I went and bought a pre-launch edition. It's like, I I felt like, "Why did I do this?" It was like, it's just
Oh,
interesting.
man. Do you still have
Ouya,
it, or was
yeah.
that part of your okay, so
No, I ended up, like, like, putting a custom ROM on it, hacking it or something, and selling it, I think, and someone bought it and says he uses it for his, webcam system, his cameras and or something. I was like, "Oh, cool."
okay.
Yeah, I think it was like a Pi or something, maybe equivalent, really. I don't know.
That's kinda cool. I love people that can, like, hack and use, electronics that are generally considered defunct. Um
Yeah, I know, that is cool. Get it to run Doom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, I don't know. I mean, so overall, you still feel like doing a lottery system's probably, like
Well, it's weird because since, uh, if I didn't get the lottery, like, even after talking about this, I would not be thinking about this.
mm,
But since I just dropped some dough, I'm gonna be thinking about it, and I was interested anyway. And so now they've got me, and I have this channel that I talk about it a lot. So,
I wonder if that's why they got you.
yeah, maybe it wait, because how many did they say that it was gonna be?
It only went out to 300 well, so the
Yeah,
the starter
240.
decks only went out to 360, the booster pack went out to 1,800, and so you
Okay,
got both.
yeah. So, I'm sure they hand selected, yeah.
They probably took me off when I entered Xeon's Rush 3 or
No,
4
yeah.
times.
Well, I wonder, maybe you need to have a Midnight Hatter email.
That's true.
Yeah, maybe that.
I need that Midnight Hatter official.
Yeah. No, really. I bet that could be what it is. I wonder. I don't know. But, that's this is like a form of marketing,
It
right?
is,
You would think, and so it's interesting because it's almost like marketing that is being paid by the consumer. Whereas it
which is the
with
best kind,
I
right?
know, but it's interesting because with the Battle Destiny that came out, it seemed like there was not any marketing for that at all. They had some
Yeah,
videos that went up, but nothing. In fact, I think, there was something about, there was gonna be a marketing campaign and then, uh, nothing.
mm.
So, yeah, I think it's weird. I think the game I I hope anyway this game sells good. I think it would.
Yeah, I mean, and it is a reprint or like a remaster, so,
Yeah,
there's that associated with it, like, it's not a new game, but hopefully what it does is kind of reintroduce people to that era of Gundam gaming
yeah,
because we always talk about it, right? Like, there was that long stretch in the 2000s of just amazing Gundam games that didn't get ported or just didn't get mass distribution for whatever reason, and we in the United States missed out on a lot of it.
yeah. I know. There's so much opportunity. It's pretty impressive, and yet coming from the gaming background you have, I'm curious to see what you think about it.
Yeah, I can't wait to try it out. That's like I said, I've softened my heart towards Seed, so
Yeah, but also it's interesting because it's Unreal Engine. But I was playing
yeah,
Doom
how is
Dark
that?
Ages. Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's on idTech 8. With that game, I could play it on max easily, load times non-existent. It's like once I load into an Unreal Engine game, it's like I can feel it now. It's like it's just enough now
But
to
but
where it's like,
but don't you love seeing the bubbles rendered in the beer bottles? Like, is doesn't
uh,
that add to the gameplay experience for you?
no, I'm telling you, idTech 8 so fast, looks so good. And the fact that, they have it cross you know, play on PC and all that, it's yeah, but at the same time, the existence of the Unreal Engine means a company like Bandai can do this with their IP.
Yeah.
And I think they're still riding off of the Seed Freedom and then the new prequel, or Destiny sequel or whatever it is in
Yeah.
Eternal. So,
Right,
oh, oh,
recollection.
and we're talking about Eternal at some point, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, before we hop into that, I wanted to
Yeah.
share some project updates because I know you guys see me once a week and you're like, I remember Hatter doing some kind of live stream or video where he was doing this thing and then like he never talked about it again. I assure you that these things like I do continue working on them even when you're not looking. So I do want to share some interesting stuff with you guys. So, boop, boop, boop. Oh, let's see. I did not pull up my camera here. Let's see if I just take down the screen share. Is my camera not running anymore?
Oh, it just popped up.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Or it popped up for you. It did not pop up for the stream. That's not good. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's excellent. So here we go. You guys can see a little bit of my desk here. You guys probably remember a long time ago, I was working on this little V8 piece, and I've since completed the V8 body, the legs. It's fully painted. The head works. The rifle works. This is the only piece still remaining of that V8 that needs to be copied in clear resin and then wired up with LEDs. And so I've still not been able to get a very clean copy. I think that this one right here is going to be the winner. Even though I mean they both look decent, but
Yeah.
this one I caught some air bubbles and so there's like chunks missing. This one actually is promising. It is missing the the piece that attaches it to the backpack, but I'm probably just going to glue it in. And a lot of like, you can see that there's some air bubbles inside of it, but I'm not necessarily worried about those because they are in parts that are going to be painted black.
Mm. That
Really,
looks
the only
great, though.
part that what's that?
I was gonna say there's good detail on it.
Yeah, I was really pleased with this because I stopped using the Silinot for once, and I went back to the old tried and true silicone mold, and this worked so much better. So,
Oh, cool.
additionally, I am working on a sponsored video from Principality New York. Shout out to you guys. And we've been working on potting these LEDs inside of Zaku Mono Eyes. So, like, this is a Zaku Mono Eye for the Requiem for Vengeance Solari Zaku. Let's see if it still works. Hey, it does. There we go.
That's cool.
Um, and but I will say that like, and this goes into my hobby tip of the week, is test, 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 because some of these, you can see I've got the battery on this one, and even though this was the best looking model that I cast in resin, this one, the light doesn't work anymore because for whatever reason, after I poured the resin into the mold, the wires touched each other, and so they're shorted out.
Mm.
Now that said, I was able to get one into the Zaku head that looks fantastic. Let's see if I can actually get it to light up. There we go. So I went with red
Oh,
because obviously Requiem for Vengeance is a very red heavy show. Um,
yeah,
and I think that this looks really, really good.
that
Uh,
does.
I also went to the trouble of I don't know. I mean, you probably built yours straight out of the box, right?
Yeah.
Um, I went and filled in the sides of the bunny rabbit ears and
Oh,
like used what's the word for it? The cement, the thinner cement, and like basically like filled it in with plastic, so it looks more like a traditional Zaku head without
that
the
is
bunny
cool.
ears.
That is a good look. Hey, and there are those other model kits. I see them on Ami Ami all the time. There's right? Isn't there like 3 others?
Yeah, the P Bandai ones like Chubbs and what was the other one? I
I
forget the other guy's
I
name.
know I
LaShawn.
forget the name. Yeah. Is that what
Chubbs and
okay.
LaShawn.
Yeah. It'd be cool to get those eventually. Mm.
Mhm. And then finally, there is one more thing that I'm going to be working on because obviously, you know how much I love Gundam electronics. This 3-volt battery, this is just not it, right? Because if I were to take a high grade Gunpla, here we've got the Gundam EX. How in the world am I going to stuff this battery somewhere in the in the
Yeah.
chest or leg where it's going to be unobtrusive? So one of the things I've become a fan of are these. This is an Energizer 377 watch battery, and you see that the footprint of this thing is immensely smaller than your typical 2032.
Could
Now the
even
only
look good in a joint or something.
Right, yeah, you could sneak this guy in anywhere. Now the downside is that it is 1.5 volts, not 3 volts, so it does not power the LEDs by itself. You need 2 of them, and so that is the new project. I say new project. Don't worry, this is not gonna be something that takes 6 months. Um, I'm modeling in Blender a plastic case because typically these, you wouldn't put 2 of them together. You use 1 of them to power your watch, but 2 of them together can power your LEDs inside of your Gunpla. So I'm making a custom battery case that stacks them together, and and then you can
Dude.
fit that inside of your Gunpla.
Dude, that's cool, especially if you make custom variants that kind of, like, blend into maybe a popular model kit.
Yeah, I mean, especially, yeah, if there's a way that I can, rig it so that it works with a lot of the different chest cavities or backpacks that different, mobile suits have.
Yeah. That's cool. Oh, wait a minute, that would be great for beam sabers.
It would be great for beam sabers. I mean, you could fit 2 of those in, like, the wrist of a Gundam pretty easily.
That's cool, yeah. Huh.
So I
Cool.
think it's pretty awesome, and
Yeah,
hopefully, we're probably going to talk about it a little bit more next week. I'm excited to announce that next week we are going to have Pencil Knights on the show.
very
Been
cool.
dying to have him because he is one of like the foremost Gundam English speaking Gundam electronics guys. He just finished working on the Freedom with the Proud Defender, and
Ah,
like
yep.
that thing looks fantastic. So
I remember seeing that and being like, "Welp, I'm just gonna stop." I looked at all my, Freedom and Proud Defenders on the shelf, I'm like, "Yeah, I guess,
you're
that's
just
it
like,
for that. I'm
do
done."
something.
That's
Um, so yeah, so those are the projects that I have going on this week. That might change tomorrow. You guys know how I am. But
awesome. But, hey, that's good. That's good, though.
yeah, and like I said, my hobby tip of the week is test, test, test. That you cannot test things enough. And that's one of the things that Pencil Knights does really well is he's always like basically everything that he snaps together. It's like test your circuit, make sure it's good before you move on to the next part, because the last thing you want to do is have like a part that's all super glued together and then your LED doesn't work.
Dude,
Um,
I don't know if you remember, I have the Robot Spirits hanger, white base hanger, and I would wire the LEDs,
yeah.
and I built, like, this whole chain. I don't know what I was doing, but, like, some of them wouldn't work, but then I couldn't figure out where in the chain, and then I would barely move it, and then some would flicker, and I'm like, "This is obviously not the way to do it, and I need to figure this out." Because it would be like, a row of 6, 2 rows of 6, and,
That's
there's
very interesting. I wonder
yeah.
what the trick is with that. Because
I ended up getting it to work, but I think it's, like, over time it degrades. Probably because 'cause I'm not really securing them.
well, yeah, and because there's a certain amount of current draw that happens, right? So, like, eventually, you're gonna run out. Like, you
Oh.
can't power that many LEDs from a single like, you can only power a certain number of LEDs before you just don't have enough current to do it, and that's where it's like, it would have to be plugged in. It can't be battery powered.
Oh, yeah.
Um So like this little strip actually came off of my house because the lights stopped working on my house, and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna try and solder them and fix them." Spoiler alert, I couldn't fix them. But I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna throw away 240 LEDs, like, come on." Especially since they are
Yeah.
RGB and like, I can do something with that, right?
Yeah.
I have never encountered RGB LEDs like this before because they're not addressable like NeoPixels. They actually only have 3 strands of wire, and so I've got a 5-volt battery here, and what I wanna illustrate to you guys is, like, it is so inconsistent. Sometimes they light up red and green, sometimes they light up blue and green, sometimes 2 of them light up and not all of them. I have no idea
How or
how
why?
they were controlled. And so I've been on Google, I've been on Reddit, I've been asking ChatGPT, and then this is the most fascinating thing is like I took one of the LEDs out and it's only got 2 pins. So that means it's only got a power pin and a ground pin. And so what is it that's controlling what color lights up?
Okay. You know what? You reminded me. I've got an electronics question for you.
Oh,
I don't
fire
know
away.
if I brought this up. Did I bring up to you the backlight going out in the TV?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. So the backlight went out in the TV. Then we thought it was bad. Went and bought a new one. Brought it home. Backlight not working. Took it to Best Buy. Plugged it in. It's working. So I'm like, well, I'll just take it back home and it's not working. So it's like we got to get a electrician or something. So they're going to be coming out soon. But in the meantime, I was plugging it in with extension cables to outlets all around the house.
Yeah.
Yet my monitors work. We have TVs upstairs that work. And yeah, so it's that the 2 TVs. Yeah.
It's gotta be something about, like, the current draw on it.
So, yeah,
And
something like
honestly,
that.
I have a similar issue with my house is, like, it's so funny because when the heat kicks on, all of the LED lights in my bathroom and in my bedroom start to flicker.
Is it the whole time or, like, right at first?
The whole time, like, if the
Oh,
heat
okay.
is running, then they're it drives me insane because 'cause I'm sitting there, like, trying to use the bathroom, it's just I get a
But is
headache.
it related to that? This thing with the current?
Yeah, so I think that the power draw from the, air conditioning unit, from, like, the central air unit actually pulls so much that, like, that lights inside the house can't work.
Interesting. So there's probably something going on that is making it where I guess these TVs can't power it's interesting, because I even have one less computer now that's in the house or operating. Um, because I used to have, like, the 2 PCs set up, I decided to stop doing that.
Well, I guess you don't need to anymore with Meld, right?
Well, yeah, Meld's just so easy to use, but no, I sticking to my work laptop just for work,
That's smart.
instead of using my backup computer for work. It's faster, but, uh, it's like
You know
I like that I can have a different office somewhere
yeah,
else.
keep your work work and keep your play
Yeah,
play.
exactly, exactly.
Oh, man,
Where
so
were we? That was quite the drift off course.
which is what we do here, honestly.
Yeah, we do that occasionally, but no, oh, yeah, the projects. So, yeah, we're talking about the LEDs.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
honestly, I would be working on these so much faster if not for, a newborn,
Oh, yeah. Well,
but
I mean,
also
any
one of
updates?
one of the cool things about having a newborn is it means I spend a lot of time on my phone because, like, during feedings, I've got my phone and I'm like, "Alright." So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
here's my number one complaint of G Generation Eternal is that it
Okay.
has to be played in landscape. If it could be played in portrait so that I could easily play one-handed, that would be a lot better. Because what I end
Oh,
up having to do is, like, I'll have the bottle, and I'll be, like, feeding her, and then, like, I have to reach up and hit the back button so that I can get back to the base, and so I'm like, "Alright, balance the bottle with my chin," and then, like,
yeah,
it's just
right.
not a good look.
Yeah,
So, yeah. But honestly, like I
hmm,
said, I've been sinking a lot of time into this game just because, like, if I'm sitting with my kid and, she's eating or maybe she's sleeping on my chest or something, like, I'm gonna do something. Like, I can't
yeah.
I'm obviously
No,
not gonna play with my resin kit on her and poison her, so
no, right there with you. I remember that, yeah, when they're young and there's you gotta be right there. What's something you can do? Reading, I should have picked that up. I'm not much of a reader.
no, smart people don't read. They have other people read for them. Uh, so I've been playing a lot of G-Gen Eternal, and then especially in the last couple of weeks because they announced the Zeta Gundam
Yeah,
as a banner suit, and so it's got me thinking a lot because obviously I've been farming for diamonds, right, to try and pull more because I want to try and max out that Zeta, and so I can't just play Zeta and double Zeta over and over again because that's you don't get diamonds that way. So I've had to play series that I don't want to play, like Double
yeah.
O and Seed and stuff like that. And they're so incredibly hard, like, when you only have UC suits that are powerful, and so what I end up having to do a lot of the time is, like, anytime there's, like, a mission where it's like, "Oh, Doman Cashew can't die in this mission," so what I'll do is I'll take control and move him out of the way and then let my beast units, my Zeta and my Zazabi, go and mop up everybody,
Yep,
because I don't
exactly.
wanna have him accidentally get shot down.
Is it
Um
wait, is are those your 2 beasts?
Yeah, so,
What
like, my squad right now is the EX Zazabi, the EX Zeta, the regular Zeta, the Quinn Mantha, and the, Justice Gundam EX.
and they're not all ultras?
No, only the 3 EXs are ultras. I did use, like, the SP conversion to get level 100 on the Quinn Mantha and the Zeta
Mhm.
Gundam, but okay, that's perfect topic.
Okay, good. Yeah, I wanna
So, with the Zeta Gundam, like the standard one, not the EX. If you
Mhm.
go into the development tree, it's actually not that difficult to max out the Zeta and get like the what do you call it? The limit break materials, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a straight line. You go Nemo, Gundam Mark II, Gundam Mark II flying armor, Zeta. And so if you just spam that. The hardest part is getting like the Zeta plans, right? Um, and you can get those just by every day logging in and doing skip tickets, right? So,
Yeah.
super easy. Seed, on the other hand, Seed is such a pain in the ass because in order to get the perfect Strike Gundam and get it limit broken, you have to have all 3 variants of the Strike Gundam. So the Ale Strike, the Launcher Strike, and the Sword Strike. But each one of those, actually, you have to have the Dagger and the Strike Gundam, or you have to have, like, the Light
Oh,
Launcher and the Strike Gundam. So you have to have 6 units fed into 3 units, fed into 1 unit, and every single one of them takes the series development material. And so this is what got me thinking about this is it's such a wildly unfair, leveling up system for people from certain series. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Hey, did you play, the Wing one?
I did,
Because it does that
with
later
the
on.
Epion.
Yeah, I forget what suits you have to have multiples of, like, Sandrock or something?
Yeah,
Or
so, like, Sandrock and that's an interesting one. So it's like Sandrock, you can develop it into the Sandrock custom or into the Shenlong. But in order to make 1 Epion, you have to have a Mercurius, a V8, and a Tall Geese.
did you do it?
I did.
You
Yeah,
did?
I maxed out the Epion.
Well,
I
let me ask
actually
you, are you spending any money?
I have not spent any money.
Wow, is it just, I guess, because you're sitting there with the baby and you have time to
I've been very, like, deliberate about the things that I'm maxing out. So, like and I sell and dismantle, like, everything, which helps
Oh,
a ton.
okay, that I should be doing more of that then.
Um,
Okay.
so basically, anything that I pull from unit assembly that I don't like and spoiler alert, I might actually disassemble the narrative Gundam and the new Gundam
Wow.
because I don't care. And
Yeah.
I almost would do the same thing with the Lisigna, but the only reason I haven't is because that one I actually have put a lot of love into. I had it since I started the game, and so
Oh,
it's
yeah.
leveled up.
Yeah, I that's one of mine.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like I don't really care about them, and each of them gets me like 50 rare metals, and the rare metals, if you get enough of them, you can unlock ultra rare limit break materials, which means you don't need another unit to limit break the
Yeah.
ultra rares.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, because 'cause I'm trying to I have a it makes me feel like I need to have ultras as my top or ultra rares, whatever, as my top. I do have a, uh, Unicorn Gundam Destroy Mode at 95,
Mm,
a Crossbone Gundam at 91.
the crossbone's so good.
Yeah, the Narrative Apex at 86, the Easy 8 at 75, and then the Lisigna at 61, and then I have, like, the Barbados, the Exia, Justice, and the Freedom.
Okay, so you picked up a lot of them.
I ended up getting quite a bit of those. I do want that Zeta, but I haven't got and then I have, like, some other ones. I feel like if they're not ultra, like, I don't care. But I think you've kind of explained the role that these other ones can have if you use them correctly and upgrade them.
Uh, I think when it's all said and done, the development tree Zeta is actually more powerful than the EX Zeta for a couple of reasons. One, if you do the SP like conversion and you get it so that it can go up to level 100, it already is better than like 95% of the suits in there. Um, Two, the EX Zeta doesn't have the ability to transform.
Oh, okay.
Interesting
Yeah,
little like
that's
tidbit about it.
a big deal.
And then finally, the EX Zeta is like that attacking type, whereas the standard Zeta is a support type, which means that you actually get like 2 attacks per turn with it because you get the support attack.
Okay.
So in a lot of ways, and like and right now I have it at 2 limit breaks and level 100, whereas the EX Zeta is level 100 and no limit breaks. Um, and the EX is only slightly better than the standard Zeta. So I'm
Wow.
thinking as soon as I get that final limit break on it, it's gonna be better than the EX Zeta.
Wow, that's cool. I'm glad that you're that deep into this. It's perfect timing. Um,
I
if
just
you
care
think
about the Zeta that much.
yeah, or
But
that.
dude,
No, but
I pulled 2 O's. So I have a
what's that?
limit broken like when the banner suits came out and it was the Zeta
Oh,
and the
you got
O,
2 O's?
I pulled 2 O's. And I'm
Wow.
like, "Fuck, I hate the O."
Wow. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to dismantle it just for the rare po
Yeah, I didn't get anything yeah, I think because I was, yeah, reading off those. I didn't really get anything interesting from my the Zeta pool, but I'll have to do it again. I'm almost at 3,000 again.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that you can do that get you free diamonds,
Yeah. I
so
just do you know what annoys me? And I just don't do it when the characters ask me stuff. It
and 95% of the time, what it takes to get the thing that they're asking for costs more than the thing that they're giving you.
yeah, the time also. It's like, "Wait a minute,
But
but I can upgrade this to" you know?
here's why you need to do it, is because when you level up those characters, you get diamonds for it.
Oh my gosh.
So, like, I
I see
hate
they add all these
Setsuna.
systems.
I
Yeah,
hate Setsuna, but when he asks me for 1 Exia, I'm like, "Alright, I'll go to the development tree, I'll make 1 Exia, I'll donate to him, give me my 50 diamonds, please, I'm gonna go try and spend it on a Zeta."
wow. Yeah, I yeah, I it I gotta say I'm turned off by those elements, the mobile gotcha element, but
Yeah.
it is when I jump in every once in a while to play it, it's a good time.
And the fact that, like, you can still play it like a G
Yeah,
generation game,
I know. That's what works, and I already have a whole lot of mobile suits, teams I can form that are really fun and, you know and being able to replay any of those UC missions so far while leveling up suits from those eras to then use, canonically.
yeah, I mean, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you, my I'm starting to like Witch from Mercury suits. What is wrong with
Ah,
me?
no, they do look good. They do look good.
I'm like, over here, I've got the Hobbytown webpage open, and I'm like, I could go for a Gundam Fair Act right now. Maybe."
No, dude, yeah, they do look good.
See, you know what's gonna happen is 2 years from now, I'm actually gonna like Gquuuuux suits.
I'm sure. I found a place that was selling the police Zaku, so I ordered it.
Oh, very cool.
Um,
There's a guy on Twitter that did something really fun with the police Zaku, where he installed an LED in the mono eye, and then this is the crazy part, is he actually put a magnet in it, and then he uses a reverse polarity magnet to push the mono eye, like, wirelessly
oh,
left
yeah.
and right, and then he installed LEDs in the police lights on the shoulders that alternate, and the whole thing is powered by 2 of these coin batteries, and he designed it in such a way that there's just clips in the back of the suit, and you just slide the battery in, and that's how you turn it on and off.
Oh,
It's
that is
chef's
I
kiss.
I feel like some of this stuff could super be easily added into high grades.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
I mean, just for kinda, like, for something that it's gimmick, or I don't know. Because I think, for instance, I feel like things like from Seed or those more, or maybe like a unicorn, for instance, like those are things that could use some LEDs for part of their gimmicks.
But,
Um,
like, the unicorn's a difficult one, right? Because that's a lot of wiring, that's a lot of stuff going on, but, like,
yeah.
Police Zaku, that's pretty straightforward
And Wing, with the
with
green
the
orb.
chest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Or even any of those Wing of Light things that are made,
yeah.
you know.
Stuff from Double O.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know I was just shit talking Double O, but
I know. No, there's a lot, yeah, from Double O that does that, yeah.
but yeah, on that subject of the Gquuuuux Police Zaku, I wanna be respectful of your time, so we
Yeah.
are gonna cut the show a little bit early tonight because we've got some prior engagements going on, but, did you have time did you wanna talk about the last episode of Gquuuuux from last night?
Let's do it.
Yeah?
Yep, let's do
Alright.
it.
So, obviously, we're gonna go into spoilers, so if you guys haven't seen it, check out. We'll see you guys tomorrow on the Gundam Explained show, but if you have seen it, Adam, go.
Okay, so I wasn't sure where they were going with this, and it almost played out almost like, "Oh, this is all a very obvious way to play this out, but very cool." And so that was basically having the introduction of the Psycho Gundam in that universe, which we saw as the AC unit that came in.
Yeah,
Um, but for me, it started playing the music from Zeta, and because
so
it
good.
yeah, and it was recreating that scene from Hong Kong City, like, that's kinda like the vibe it was giving off, and it just if and it kind of I can reaffirm my expectations I have with this show, and that it's kinda just that fun, schlocky Gundam fun, like, I don't have to take it seriously, I don't think it's meant to, especially the sort of tragic way it ended really dark, like, when you see that someone is now, like, on this side and this happens, like, in Seed, where
Yeah.
in a other Gundam where it's like they're accidentally on a side.
Yeah, well, it's funny because that episode felt like a mid-season finale, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, "Oh, we're about to go on hiatus for 6 weeks. There's the cliffhanger for you." Like,
Wait, okay, so here's a thought. Would they go into Do you think they would go into any territory in the future? But maybe, um, I don't know, maybe even go in the future.
I doubt it personally,
Okay.
especially considering, like and if you guys didn't stick around for, like, the next time on Dragon Ball Z so, like, the preview of the next episode is part of the movie from way back. So it's a flashback to the One-Year War. They already had the one episode was the first half of the flashback, which was Char stealing Gundam. The second half of the flashback is the Zeknova, right where Char disappears. Um,
Okay. I was
so
confused about all
so
that.
if you miss next week, it's not a big deal because no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So this is part of the reason that I'm like, why did they do it this way? Because they're dropping all of these terms like, oh no, it's a Zeknova, and it's like, well, but the audience doesn't know that yet unless they had watched the movie, and now they're not going to know it until next week when that episode airs. So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
well, what is the Zeknova? Is it where 2 certain new types, um, embrace each other?
they still really haven't explained what it is, but
Because
all
they
we know is
talked
that
about, like, the Kira and the new type brainwaves, like, in terms of energy, I guess, and almost like talking about it at a quantum way because it was talking about how it was negative energy.
yeah,
And so it was almost talking about some sort of like quantum fluctuation that would then cause some sort of, like a black hole or something. And
like some
so
kind of harmonic resonance that
yeah, it's almost like where that the new type sort of consciousness or whatever that the brainwaves interact with is in this quantum realm. And but that's what I'm saying. It's like it's in a quantum realm, so the Zeknova makes sense. Same with like splitting the atom.
yeah.
It's like it's like that kind of quantum sort of interference or whatever. Anyway,
Well, Kyle
and
in chat says that it's when Amuro and Char have a baby, which could be defined as quantum mechanics and quantum entanglement. It's when 2, new
There
types
we go.
get quantumly entangled with one another, in the biblical sense.
But yeah, I mean, what do you think? I don't know.
Well, this was my favorite episode to date, but,
Yeah,
it was both. I loved it because I loved the Zeta music, I loved the Psycho Gundam, I loved the
yeah,
Hammurabi,
yeah.
got a random shout in there,
Even though it didn't get to do much, but
yeah.
it was still
But
sick.
it does reinforce what I don't like about the show is how much it is really just like the Studio Kara Gundam fanboys that are, like, cashing in, like, nostalgia bucks on UC stuff. It does remind me of, like, the Star Wars meme, and it's like, "Oh my gosh, look, it's Milpo Sklint, like, I can't believe he's in this
Oh,
show," you know?
yeah.
And so
Yep.
I really wish because there's so much rich potential with Machu and Nian, like, obviously, we got some character development with Nian in the last
Yeah.
episode that was really good. I want more of that and less of the, like, "Hey, look, this shiny thing from UC that we drew slightly differently."
I'm fine with them not having any interesting story for the characters, and they just show me a bunch of cool UC stuff. That's kind of all I really, since I know it's not in a real UC proper, I kinda, don't care. I don't know. It's kinda
Y
interesting because like how I feel about Seed. It's like I
Yeah.
love some of the suit designs, the music, but, I don't know.
No, I get the and that's why I'm gonna keep watching it because there's so much to enjoy about it, um,
Yeah.
but it does feel like, obviously, this is not gonna go anywhere, like, story-wise that's gonna
Yeah, I
be
wonder. I
compelling.
wonder. I mean, how are they gonna explain the original Zignova? What do you think?
I don't know, it almost seems like a wish-making machine, you know what I mean? Because it's always when somebody is thinking that they wanna be somewhere else,
Well,
and then
because remember when you hear Char over the comms say, "Who are you?" or something like that?
yeah,
And then that's when that Zeknova happened, and, yeah, like, I that's why what if it was Amuro? That's that whole thing, you know?
yeah,
And so
Gundam
Amuro
what
and
if.
Char are a Zeknova.
And maybe that's it should have been vignettes, kind of like, Gundam Evolve.
Oh, yeah,
That
yeah.
would have been a cool way to do it.
Oh, yeah. That's actually an interesting thing they could explore again. Um, Because I feel like a lot of modern anime animation, there still is a lot of CGI in a way where
Oh,
I wonder if you
tons,
get to a point where they can more easily pump out longer seasons.
especially with Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
Just
Everyone needs
don't go the Requiem for Vengeance route. Well, we have gotta take off for the evening. Well, appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Appreciate your thoughts on Gquuuuuux. Hope you guys are gonna continue watching it like we are. I see in the chat that most of you guys didn't know that there was a, lottery
a
going
lot.
on for the Gundam card game, and B, didn't win it. So, uh, fumble on you, Bandai. But thank you. Adam, I'm gonna Venmo you here in a second. Um,
Oh, no problem.
Again, Gundam Explained show tomorrow night. We've got a special guest joining us.
Oh, yeah, that's
Am
right.
I allowed to say that?
Yeah, no, we could say, yeah, Kyle, Simply New Type, yeah, will be on. That's gonna be fun, yeah, because it's 200, episode 200,
Oh,
little
congratulations, brother.
celebration. Thanks, but, I mean, really, I think for you, it's probably the same.
I think so. I think
You just don't use the numbering convention, but, like, and I think you've had more than me anyway, but still, yeah.
well, maybe I'll go back and count them, and we'll start tracking it because I
Yeah,
think that that's a cool milestone to celebrate.
yeah. No,
And if you
totally.
guys are still in the mood to watch some content, is it gonna be on Blue Gamer or is it gonna be on
Nope,
Breakman X?
it's gonna be on Breakman X, the Breakman X, YouTube,
So, yeah.
channel. Yep,
So search Breakman X on YouTube. Adam is gonna go join them for their show tonight.
yep,
Um, Dude, congratulations, and we'll see you
yeah,
tomorrow.
yep, that's right.
Thanks, everybody. You have a good night.